2 rounds? Bro, I'm 2 rounds up right now!
Oh my god.
Alright, I'm gonna transition over. Alright.
Okay.
Alright, welcome back. Welcome back. How's everyone going? How's everyone doing today?
I'm doing good.
I'm
Okay.
fantastic.
I'm not dead.
Nice, nice.
Let's go.
Before we get started, I wanted to do a couple shout outs, a couple of donations we got earlier today. All of our donations, not all, but our donations are going towards Draw Change, the charity we're partnered with, and we had a couple very charitable donations earlier today. We had one from Glitch, $1 test.
That's fire. We love that, actually.
Test pay for $5 said, "Sup, what's up? I hope it's going
That's
well." Eagle Bro, $50 for the children. Also, SAO's good. Y'all are just old and jaded.
Hell yeah.
Thank you.
Get him.
Mokomichi USA said Japanese restream. We had another $25 donation from Gloom-chan. Thank you for donating. All donations are appreciated. You don't have to comment. I will shout you out. So thank you. I really do appreciate it. $3.71 from Ghost Dog VG. Thank you very much. $3 from Anime Rules. Thank you. Yeah. So all donations will help for a charitable cause, and it doesn't have to be much. So, but every little bit counts.
Yeah, thanks everybody for your donations, and it's why we're having this event right here. So it's be great if you have even like $1, like the test Gabe gave. It'd be great. So whatever you can give is awesome. And even if you can't, like supporting the event or restreaming or like sharing it on social media is fantastic.
Yeah, and every $5 donated from you will go into a raffle for our game codes later on in the stream. We'll get that all set up and rounded about. All right, well, Senseigod-san, are you good? Are you ready?
I am ready.
Heck
All right.
Can I start?
Heck
Or...
yeah.
Oh, yeah. Heck yeah. I broke the rule. Oh, no. Why? Okay. It'll be fun.
Ready with introductions, and just let me know when you want to say time.
All right.
Okay.
The time will be on a cutscene that he triggers after, and we'll probably just shout out time. And then to start time, we will count it down. So go for it,
Okay.
Sensei.
Yep. You ready?
Yeah, I'm. We're ready. We'll do our introductions as you start because there's some cutscenes that start.
Okay, then I'm gonna start. Hey, cutscene. There we go.
It's time started, right? Or am I crazy?
Yep. Oh.
Oh, so
Yeah.
time start?
No.
Yeah, time started.
Yeah, time started. Yeah.
Okay.
Time started? Okay, okay. Well,
Yeah, no,
Then
no
I'm going.
Y'all have a good time. I'll be here.
All right, take care.
nice.
All right, so that's how you invalidate a run immediately. So, no, I'm just kidding.
I just got
no,
kicked off.
This is Sword Art Online, Alicization, Lycoris. Maybe said that wrong because those words are crazy. But, yeah, so this is a very interesting Sword Art game. It's actually, I would say, the second best one, personally, after Realization. The one we were just going over in the discussion block.
Yeah, this game's pretty cool. A lot of different
This game
weapon
has-
variety. A lot of
This game
different
has great weapon variety, it has really cool build paths. The problem is capping, so the game caps a couple things way too early, such as movement speed. It effectively caps movement speed at 5%, and
Which is like your sprint speed increase.
yeah. So like, unfortunately, the only thing movement speed, even though it says movement speed on it, will give is slow resistance. Basically, if you get slowed, it'll start counteracting the slow with the movement speed ups you have. It's really not cool. if any SAO developers are listening in the future, don't do that. Please let us increase our movement speed with your skills that give movement speed.
Yeah, just stop
Especially
lying.
for speedrunners.
Yeah.
Not Pog, yeah.
The maps are pretty big in everything after Chapter 1, so it does... In Chapter 1, it's not as noticeable, but later on, it really starts to weigh on you.
Yeah. So we will be referencing this mythical character named Rick throughout this run. There's
We're gonna
this
see him
character
soon.
that in the SAO anime, he's named Yu-Gi-Oh! In this run, we will be referring to him as Rick. This is because Rick is an internal joke in the community, but is honestly the person that saved Kirido from the dark path of playing too many video games. So, to touch grass, he saved our boy. But in the bad universe, you know, Kirito got really addicted to video games, and he's never escaped.
Probably
Coming up on
ended up
Wick.
destroying the world or something, because anime.
Yeah. So if we ever refer to Rick, we're referring to this character that is a sovereign version of Yu-Gi-Oh! That has saved many gamers' lives by telling them to touch grass. So, just letting you guys know ahead of time. There he is, our boy. Oh, what a game.
I mean, he's not though. The anti-gamer. Who will save us all.
Yeah, that's true. Our guy,
It's
we
true as hell,
love
man.
Rick, true. This game is mostly going to be running. There are a couple tricks in this game, one of which, you know, Sensei hasn't practiced it enough for Chapter 1, but maybe he'll play around with it once or twice here or there. In this game, if you enter battle by attacking usually, and then you press to the dash button more or less, you will like dash up things at a pretty decent speed. This isn't faster than sprinting, but due to the way that they decided to code walls and stuff, most of the walls are slopes instead of pure walls. And due to this, you can ride up them with a dash. It will appear that you teleport up walls and mountains. And it saves actually a fair chunk of time. It's very weird.
Yeah, there's actually spots where you can do this multiple times in a row, because there's sections where, like, seams of the geometry intersect, and those can often be stood upon. So you can just do, like, multiple dashes in a row to climb taller cliffs, instead of, like, you're not limited to ones that, that you can only clear with one dash.
Absolutely. And I'll try to call them out to Sensei, probably a little late. And we'll have him play around with the mountain or something. It's not a big time loss if he tries it out.
Well,
but
it's gonna be world record, don't worry about it.
Exactly.
Technically,
So
that's
we're not
true.
worried about it.
Should we talk about the difference between light mode and not light
Yeah,
mode?
let's do that.
So in this game, for Chapter 1, there's something called light mode. It only applies to the first chapter, and so Chapter 1 is basically a retelling of the Alicization anime, or at least part of it. The rest of the game is an original story for the game, like most of the other SAO games. So, for people who have already seen the anime and don't want to take a bunch of time to redo the story, the game put in something called light mode. It basically makes all the fights, like enemies have, I think, like 80% of their normal health or something. You get auto combos. You get to skip some of the gathering side quests, which drastically speeds up. It saves like 15 minutes by itself, on top of the time saves from the enemy stat changes, and there's a couple other fights that you just skip. However, in this particular category, light mode optimal, there is a section where we turn light mode off in order to get into a fight where we can then, or into a section of the game, I believe a dungeon, after a certain boss fight. And if we turn light mode on after that, we skip an even bigger chunk of game. We skip like 3 or 4 boss fights.
Yeah, so the reason it's called optimal is there's community voted that there be light mode on, off, and optimal. On requires that you keep it on the whole time. Off requires that you keep it off the whole time. And optimal is you can choose to just turn it on and off at whim.
Yeah.
So to get the fastest time save, you turn it on and off at whim. Because, like Art said, you can't get into that boss battle with light mode on. The game will just skip it. And because you can't get it there, you can't trigger the, like, interactable that basically lets you skip the whole section. So right here he could do, you could attempt to just dash over all the mountains in a straight line to the boss. Any of them that happen to be in your way. Or to the
Yeah, I don't know the world for the dash thing.
Just look for any curved wall and then just swing your weapon and press dash. And you'll just glide over it. It's not too big of a deal. What you did there was totally fine. But I'm just saying, if there is a slope that's right in front of you and you otherwise would have to walk around it, might as well just hit attack and dash up it.
Oh, I almost messed up. Let's go.
Heck
Let's
yeah.
fall in the water.
That would suck.
Yeah. For the people.
For the people. Yeah, so this dash tech works in a lot of spots. That gets us to places that I would argue the devs didn't think we would get to, I'll be honest. Namely because, like, there's holes in geometry in a couple stages that aren't in this run, but in Chapter 2. Which we could just fall out of bounds and then just, like, walk around. So, you know, kind of a polarization and alicization trick.
Yeah, it's they're
Yeah.
both in the same engine by the same developer, Akuria. The engine's called like the Fire engine or something. This is just a different version of it, specifically made to run on newer consoles. Because Holorealization was actually a Vita game first. It was on Vita and then got ported to PS4 and then got ported again to PC. This came out originally on PC and Xbox One.
Yeah. So, most of this run's going to be just like basic attacks, one-shotting things. We can go over like kind of what this game normally ends up being like in general. So there's a couple builds for this game. There's actually like more complex skill-oriented builds that they aren't used in the speedrun. So somebody out there who wants to try could use a build more suited for utilizing the like deeper mechanics of the game. But in fact, in the speedrun, we use a build that just boosts our attack power for our normal attacks an insane amount. There's a lot of skills in this game.
It's on like the rapier tree. I don't remember what it's called.
Yeah, there's a couple skills on I think the spear tree and the rapier tree that give
two-handed sword,
insane normal attack damage, and then there's a couple more, and we
Stabbing
just sync
is
them all
overpowered.
together, and it ends up being so incredibly unfair that like basic attacks deal the same damage basically as arts, but you can cheese them because this game has block canceling. So you can just shoot guard with the bow, for example, and do insane DPS.
A lot of the
average.
time. So in Chapter 1%, the only time the guard canceling is like super important is in the administrator fight, which is at the beginning and end. And that's because with dual wielding, you end up doing a bunch of finishers with light mode on that are lower DPS and actually give her the opportunity to block. But if you do like, I think 3 square presses and then guard cancel, your DPS is better because you keep her stun locked and it saves like 5 to 10 seconds depending on how much you block in each fight.
Yeah, guard canceling is really strong in this game. The auto combos that we use in this game are really powerful too because they make use of skills you don't even have to have unlocked. And that adds a lot of power. The problem with it is it normally disables a couple mechanics, which is why I'm saying you could, on paper, utilize that to play the game, you know, more advanced, but actually get a bigger time save after a second. But generally, we actually end up just utilizing it because there's not much of a point in throwing it off outside of a couple boss fights.
I think in Chapter 2, you probably want to turn it off. But I'm not super sure.
I think it's forced off after Chapter 1, isn't it?
No.
Did I
It's like,
mishear? I might have misheard.
I mean, you can keep it on.
Oh, in light mode optimal, I think we do actually skip the administrator fight at the end, right? That's the point of light mode.
Yeah,
optimal?
yeah.
I've never
Just
run
skip.
that category. I've only run light mode on.
Well, the best thing is no one has, so
There you go.
people to records.
I mean, yeah, I guess I could run it on PC and get that record too.
True.
Yeah, Sensei is currently the PS4 record holder for Chapter 1%, and I am the record holder for PC Chapter 1%. They're
And also
different 'cause,
for-
loads.
yeah. For any percent, because no one wants to do it because it's
Oh yeah,
too
any
long.
percent's just long. Any percent's like 6 or 7 hours. It's crazy.
And I kind of just know it all on top of my head, but it's just kind of long.
Sensei does like really long runs a lot of the time. I don't have the attention span for that stuff, man. I can't do it.
I don't know if you would have the time to sit there for like 8 hours.
Yeah, my wrists can't handle 8 hours. Zero, you could take it. I mean, my we'd have to fix the load remover. That would probably help. We have a load remover for this game on PC, but it's broken multiple times because they kept updating the game, and I haven't gone back to fix
Micro
it yet.
updates. Yeah.
Yeah, that last time it moved like 2 addresses in memory.
Yeah, usually adds like nothing.
But my run is technically there's like maybe 2 minutes of time save total with like really perfect like lines and good execution. But it's free if you have the load remover, because I don't have an LRT on the board because the load remover was broken when I did my run.
Mm-hmm.
So you just beat it by like 9 minutes if you have the load remover.
Yep. That is absolutely the case.
Imagine load move were optimal. It will be like 40, I think.
Well, yeah, but yeah.
Yeah.
I think. So this is you're referring to chapter 1, right?
Yeah.
In regards to this run that Art has and that Ebony is trying to beat, that you said 2 minutes, right?
Yeah.
I would say that like there aren't a ton of cliffs to ride in chapter 1. There are probably a couple that maybe could save a bit more, and then obviously you can get just like clean RNG, no blocks, all that stuff. So I could see it going down a bit more, but maybe not.
In the case of my run,
7.
it's mostly just like really straight movement lines and the ogre fight. Mine's really bad, I think, in my PB. My ogre fight, because it feels almost random, because it's like, oh, is he going to get staggered successfully into break and fatal state or not? Because that determines how fast the fight goes. Like how much he blocks at the beginning. And I'm like, I'm going to be honest, there were no other runs on the board when I submitted mine. I think mine's still the only one there, so I still haven't run it that series. Oh, there was like a 118 when I first played it. And I was just like, I beat this by 8 minutes on my first try. And I was like, this isn't, I like SAO, but this isn't the SAO game I want to run, so.
Yeah, that's fair.
I just went back to Hollow Realization and Fatal Bullet.
I think there's probably a couple like micro strats that can be used to save a lot of time on these fights like that Sensei's doing. Like you do like 3 attack guard cancel, 3 attack guard cancel, 3 attack guard cancel, and then like keep going. You dash over a lot of specific rocks, and whatnot, which is just like really weird, but would save time over running around them. It's just about finding all of those little nooks and crannies. But I think you could definitely drop it a couple minutes. Maybe 4 minutes is my guess. Got him, Ebony. I mean, I'm looking forward to anybody who wants to try to play this game. Chapter 1 is a easy way to get into it, even though it isn't like the most ultra interesting run, but it's not half bad whatsoever. The movement's pretty fun in a couple places, and like guard canceling is fun to do, so you can just like hit people, guard cancel, and then hope for no blocks, and you can get good stuff going. Yeah, minimum loads are a bad mechanic in games overall. I understand why they do them, but it's very, very sad because in this context, this game has minimum loads. So, in a way, some people might be happy about that. Oh, well, I don't need like a super SSD to compete. But on the flip side of that, if we have a load remover, it purely just loses people time. Like, this game has a really large minimum load. It's really unfair. It's so fat that I swear they made it for SSD PS4, and that was it. And not even maybe. Like, so if you play this on PC, a lot of these loads are sitting, 12 seconds or something, just because.
As opposed to the like minimum 2 that it would take, compared to like Fatal Bullet, for example. The loads for that on PC, and that game has its own problems with the port, to be fair, but the loads are like 2 seconds on PC. It's actually crazy, like 2 to 5 seconds on a good SSD, compared to this, which is, man, it's unfortunate that the loads are as long as they are. And the other side of the minimum loads thing is like, even looking at like consoles, we can just split boards for stuff like that. You can't really split PCs based on load times, obviously, but that's what load removers are for. But consoles, it's like, well, we got PS5 has faster loads than PS4. It's like, well, just separate category. It's easy. Not that they probably have speedrunners in mind when they make these decisions, but then it's weird why they would make them to begin with. Unless it's because the game is optimized in such a way that requires them, like stuff just won't be loaded in somehow. I don't know. The game has in anyway, so it's hard to say.
I mean, this game was made very safe, and I think that's probably because the structure, like the integrity of the engine, wouldn't be able to handle it. Is my guess. I'm not to say that it wouldn't, because on PC I've sped the movement speed up quite a lot and ran through the areas. But what I mean by integrity is more like visual integrity, especially like was mentioned. Like if big pop-in or like straight up non-texture loads were happening, then it would make their game look really trashy, and they don't want to do that. But because this engine is so old, more or less, it just gets suffering from that. That's why I'm very glad about the new console generation, because it's gonna improve people's engine game, I think, a bit, and they're gonna be able to just render in things at whatever speeds and not really worry.
Just like use Unreal 5, guys. Is the new SAO game in Unreal 5? I think it might be. I don't remember.
I don't know.
It's
I'd be happy.
though, still, I think.
If it is, that's fantastic.
Wait, when does the new one come out?
It's later this year, like September, November, or something. I want to say, if I remember, it's been a long time since I've looked, so haven't been too. I haven't kept up with a lot of gaming news, with my hands being.
We're talking about like Blooming, or is it a different game?
I have no idea what it's called. I just know it's the latest.
The last to be collection, I believe, Scott.
Yeah, I think that's it.
So yeah, last recollection says October 5th is the release date.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
this year. Okay.
That's okay.
Yeah, it does say Unreal Engine 4 is the base engine, but obviously that's port upable. So
Yeah. Okay.
so
pretty cool.
I mean, that's fantastic news, right? Like, it's the developer we generally like that makes these games, and it's a much more stable engine. I will say though, Unreal Engine baseline has a lot of clip prevention to prevent people from going out of bounds. There's a very high chance you can't get out of bounds in this game. Like, I've routed a lot of Unreal games. Almost all of them have some function where you touch a wall and it pushes back at you, and if you go through the floor, for example, it pushes you back to the floor. It uses some sort of like I'm gonna make up terms for everybody who actually knows. It's gonna sound cringe, but it basically creates an anchor point for your last grounded available state, and if you move past into an out of bounds state, they've declared all of that ground as out of bounds, and then once you enter it, it moves you back to your anchor point. If you were to teleport out of bounds using tools, you can sometimes just cheat it, but a lot of times, even with tools, you'll warp out of bounds and the game will rubber band you back in bounds really hard. And because Unreal kind of baseline has this feature, I feel like there's a very high chance you're not going to be able to walk out of bounds in Sword Art Last Recollection, which is fine. Like, I mean, yeah, that's a cool thing for speedrunning, but as long as the game has uncapped speeds and just fun things, then we'll have a good time.
Yeah, it's no big deal. Like Fatal Bullet has like really high movement speed on NG Plus at least, so it's like for the most part not that big a deal that out of bounds isn't really a thing. I mean, there's technically a couple of them. They're not really useful. There's some weird glitches in that game, and we'll get to that when we actually have that game is being run next.
Oh wait, it is.
But yeah, like if we had movement like that in another SAO game, I sure wouldn't complain. I wouldn't be like, yeah, we need out of bounds. Because like even Hollow Realization, the base movement speed is actually pretty unfortunate. But dagger dashing and speed potions together give you like more than double total speed, I think.
Yeah.
Something like, or it's a 90% increase if it's additive. I don't know if it's additive or multiplicative. Because dagger dashing is 40% faster if you time it right.
That's additive.
Okay, and then speed potions are 50% speed increase, so it's 190% movement.
Yeah, it's really fast. I think that, like, when I say limiting feels really bad, we're mostly referring to games like Alicization, Lycoris, where sprinting basically gets you there, stands a couple percentage points, and it feels bad because in this game you can get 60% movement speed relatively easily, like within chapter 2. So it just feels horrible to not be able to use any of that, pretty much any of that 60% whatsoever.
Yep.
Yes, sprinting is max speed. It's weird.
So if we had 60% more movement speed on paper, like the run nearly go 60% faster. Like we could like downsize that number to like 40%, but it's
it's
a
like
lot.
4 hours long for the whole game, which would be sick. I'd actually run it.
And it would be that's disregarding theoretically if you had a high enough movement speed, if it affected the dash. The dash could go up steeper or worse slopes and create exploits that didn't exist if it was uncapped. So it would probably make a big impact.
Yeah, and I think you looked into it, right? And there's not really a way to fix that with a mod either.
Yeah, I attempted to make a mod to fix the capping. It is possible for somebody who's like better than I was only able to just raise the baseline amount, like ignoring the cap, but I couldn't overwrite I couldn't find the cap to overwrite it, but that's on me. I definitely think it's possible. Rather I wasn't invested enough to like try to find a static value. So a static value is a value that doesn't dynamically change. Normally when you're, data mining, scanning for values, or using memory editing software, you want to have a value that changes from one thing to the other. The cap stays fixed, so I can't find it very easily. I'd have to find something that looks at it and then use that to find it and then change it. And from my experience, it wasn't stored anywhere like super easily, so I just couldn't find it. But I know for a fact that it would be possible if somebody did it, and if you did, we would allow it as its own category on the board. For anybody out there who's like, I want to try to find, a way to uncap the speed. If you did, we would allow it and put it on the board as a different category.
I was gonna say, yeah, you're one of the mods for this game, so.
Hey.
Yeah. I mean, I think it'd be an easy yes. Like it would just
Yeah,
make the run so much more doable for a high amount of people. Because honestly, most of this game's run is walking, which is very, very bad.
Yeah, like 60-70%, probably more.
Yeah, and chopping so there's a movement speed upgrade in the skill tree. That's 15%. That's a passive. It would take up a passive slot, but you can turn it. You could just unequip it and equip it depending on how much running. There's a katana you obtain on the top of a pillar in the desert section in chapter 2 that gives you a weapon called something sandstorm, savage sandstorm or something, and that's a katana that gives 15% movement speed. And then the tailwind, the level 1 spell for wind, which you just basically always have starting chapter 2, gives you 30% movement speed. So
yeah, just perpetual 60% upgrade. Yep.
Yeah, so you would be really fast. You can actually see tailwind increase your movement speed when you jump, because your jump movement speed is lower than your base movement speed, so it hits the cap later. But you can't go any higher than tailwind's movement speed. So when you press jump, you'll move slower than if you run in this game, but with tailwind on, your jump will go relatively the same speed, which is it hitting the cap.
You can bounce on something with tailwind, which will make you go faster with like one jump.
Yeah, so there's a trick in this game called I call it glitch vaulting or bounce vaulting, where you have tailwind, or you technically don't need tailwind, but you might for extending it. But if you have tailwind active, you jump off a cliff or something and you land on a vaultable object in a particular way. You'll like kind of bounce off of it, gain the vault speed up, and like glide forward because tailwind reduces your fall speed, and you move like faster than technically anything that we can do in the run beside dashing, but dashing has too much end lag.
Yep.
Also, if you found a way to like somehow cancel dash's end lag, that would also be insane, but I don't know of any way.
Yeah,
just fix the game for us. Yeah,
fix the game, I'm just saying.
Yeah,
but I think some way of somehow breaking dash could be found. I didn't experiment super hard with some method of canceling the dash in a good way. So
yeah, we only spent like 15 minutes on that, which is not enough to find something that groundbreaking, I guess, with as many options as we conceivably have, because it might not even be something we have early on. It might be some like other skill that we activate and that has like some kind of a weird cancel window that you just cancel a dash into that and then cancel it with a dash before it does anything, so you just like dash skill dash or something like really fast.
Yeah, like linear with the rapier or something. You just dash linear, dash linear.
Yeah.
But yeah, something like that could be really cool. But as you can see here, like he's just running to yellow points on the map. And imagine that being 60% faster would be super awesome.
Technically, it wouldn't be here because we wouldn't have the movement.
I'm just playing Google Maps with it.
Yeah.
Google
But
Maps.
Yeah. This fight. Oh, this fight sucks. Why this fight? Why is it and why?
So a lot of what he's going to be doing here is mostly doing his combo and then guard canceling. You see the guard is that little like sort of aura that appears in front of him. And that's one of the better ways to keep your damage.
If I die, it doesn't matter.
He'll be fine. He can always just play as Rick.
Just play as the legend Rick, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I forgot you can switch characters in this game. I haven't played this in a while.
Yeah, that is merely an illusion.
Yeah, we're only like, you know, utilizing Kirito for his low usefulness while we play as Rick.
Well, because the game knows if you're playing as Rick because he's too strong, and it like nerfs you because it's like, well, it's not fair. You can't. It's like it'd be playing with cheat codes, right? Because if Rick were at his full power, he would just be one shot. He wouldn't even have to attack. Like he just walk up and enemy.
Yeah, the game would just crash.
He has like, you know how like Aizen in Bleach has like that aura.
Yeah.
Like a guy like walks within like 10 feet of him and just disintegrates. That's what Rick has.
It is true, yeah. He has to turn it off on his mod tools.
Yeah.
It would kill your computer.
Yeah, he will. Yeah,
Yeah.
He'll blue screen your PC. He'll brick your PS4.
Yeah, so it's gotta be careful. But I would say that I think I could be wrong. I think a couple characters in this game have different basic attack strings. I think Rick and Alice are those characters.
Yeah.
With the one-handed sword they have. So like they actually don't have the same moveset, which is sort of to their benefit, I think.
I mean, Wick feels slower with like guard canceling. Like how he does normal attacks.
He has to do a different guard cancel.
Yeah.
But very good. And then Alice, I think she swings slower, but her damage is higher or something.
Yes. But yeah, I think so.
Which is no good. Sorry, Alice, get out of her party.
I don't think I ever played as Alice, to be fair.
Yeah.
I'm just used to using the same one every time.
As True Zero, he swings the sword so hard that guard canceling would break his in-game character's wrist. So he has to be careful.
Yeah, at my own.
Not his actual wrist though, because he's inbuilt.
It will.
So.
Yeah, it's just a video game character, you know. He's not trying to cheat and get the admins to try to ban him.
Oh, I forgot about dual mode. You got this sort of thing.
I'm pretty sure in this one you can just mash square and you win though.
Well, it's guard stuff.
Because she has like no health in light mode.
Kind of. I think I see guards like most normal attacks.
Yeah, so this is the thing about PvP. There's these dual sections in this game and whatnot, and in dual sections, the AI is much more likely to block standard attacks than normal, which is something we want to be using a lot of. So you will notice that we kind of are like, we'll use an art, and normally we wouldn't be happy about that, but we can get lucky, and sometimes they throw out an attack, and we just basic attack spam, we get a lot of damage really quickly. So, luckily, Chapter 1 doesn't have a lot of these, but there's quite a few fights later on in later percents where it's a big problem.
And it's the only thing that forces you into third person. Because you could technically just beat the whole game first person.
First person gameplay, yeah.
Yeah, I was originally gonna do that, but then I realized I hate that.
Yeah, it's bad. I will say to anybody who's curious, like, whoa, but what if there's a trick in first person? No, there's not. Like, there might be some super kooky one, but I played around for like a half hour messing around with first person to see if it edited anything. There's a tactics mode in this game that like stops time. I messed around with all of those things trying to see if it would find any like crazy glitches, but none of them really came up with anything of merit.
Yeah, to me there's like two differences. It's because the combat is really weird in first person, and also like I think there's like one trick I do before you get to like the bees. Like you jump up the wall. I just can't. I don't know why. In first person, I just fail it.
Yeah, it is really, really annoying. I think it's intentional, you know.
Yeah.
They don't want you on that mode.
Life.
Yeah, so yeah, this game's quite long. Like we said, a lot of movement is required in this run to get anywhere, and that's mostly the biggest problem. Outside of that, I would say, you know, combat's pretty fun in this game. You know, you're given mostly all the tools you would generally want to have to like avoid an attack or deal a lot of damage. There's a bunch of weapon variety in this game. There's actually long range weapons in this game, which is not the case in a lot of these games actually.
The only other one that has them, I guess in the other Ikuria games, yeah.
Yeah, so like, you know, bow is really strong in this game.
Bow is insane. For the amount of time the attack animations take, it's ridiculous. It's the one game where Sinon is actually like kind of okay, which is nice. Because she's kind of bad in all the others.
Yeah, bow is just like the most safe way you can play. Because you can just camp and just not engage. Just keep spamming your bow.
Another thing to note in this game is that you can equip your allies with like active skills and stuff to that effect. So due to that, they kind of matter. We don't care about them super heavily in this arc, specific to this chapter, but in the actual game, you do get to equip them with some really overpowered skills to help you out.
And specifically in the context of bow, insofar as we're not fighting things that we don't hit because of the accuracy stat, which I kind of wish weren't in the game, if I'm honest. The camping way to do things is kind of beneficial a lot of the time because you can't really get killed if things aren't fast. And like if you can just keep running away, shoot, guard cancel, shoot, guard cancel, run away again. Like, you know, it's pretty easy to play defensively without losing much offense just because we have that 800% damage buff in the full game.
Yeah, it's really strong. We even stack on another one, but it requires us to be in another mode that you generally
that one.
Get.
Super Arts, I believe?
Yeah.
I think it's Super Arts.
Yeah, if you pop that mode, then your basic attack goes up by like another 1000% or something stupid. So
I actually believe it's 1000, yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. So it
But it's
really is like an
limited.
insane build. I'm honestly looking forward to SAO Last Recollection for that exact reason. Like, better engine overall. It's made on a PS5 as well, so like it very likely will want to use those loads, therefore not having minimum loads.
That would be
is
so
a likely
great.
thing. That's the big benefit. You know, in previous generations, having cross compatibility would generally just nerf the product. So like, for example, when the PS4 games were coming out with PS3 support, like a lot of those games had to just be nerfed because PS3 had to be supported. In the PS5's case, luckily it's not nearly as bad because generally they'll make it for the PS4 Pro, which isn't that bad, and then they'll make the PS5 version will still have really low loads, so we don't have to worry about minimalization. And so the PC version will get a lot of those optimizations as well, because the PS5 is closest. Like, the newest consoles are closest to PCs, so it's easier to cross-port them.
Yeah. I will say there were a couple games that, like, sort of a little bit got away with it last generation, which, incidentally, are games that use anime-style graphics, which is probably the only reason why. Like your Persona 5s and your Tales of Berseria, those were both PS3, PS4 cross-gen releases. And those were, like, not, like, a problem, but it also is probably worth mentioning that the gap between the PS3 and the PS4 from a graphics and loading speed perspective, discounting Blu-ray load times, like on installs, I mean, isn't really that much faster. I think we just went from like SATA 2 or SATA 1 to SATA 3, which is like, that's big, but it's not comparable to SATA 3 to NVMe. That's like more than 10 times in a lot of cases.
Yeah, they're just not that. It's significant. So I'm glad about that as well. I'm not a huge SAO fan of like the lore, but the reality of the fact is I like games, and games about characters playing games is kind of funny, but like they're good games. They make good games. So,
wait, that's lore?
Yeah, the SAO games are pretty good as far as anime games go, as opposed to... I like to complain about arena fighters because none of them are as good as Castlevania Judgment. Oh, did I just say that on screen?
I want to get into that, but I cannot do like a quick about it. I don't know. Get what you know.
most of the SAO games are just like action RPGs, and I'm like, that's like my favorite genre. So sick.
Yeah, I like action RPGs a lot as well. So there isn't a lot. I mean, anime games tend to be fighting games and some action games or arena fighters, and this just happens to scratch that itch that doesn't exist in a lot of them. So it's really good. Which one's fair?
Oh, no, it's this fight. I hate this. Oh, this sucks.
No, Zero Fatal Bullet is not my favorite game. It's not even in my top 10. I don't even think it's in my top 25.
Damn the shade.
I will probably never play that video game ever again. I'm happy with my time, and I've moved on from it.
You know what? I will join you on that. I will never play it. I have them to Steve. Yes. I don't want to anymore because I played on console, and I had to beat the game first on new game, which to me it was just torture.
Yeah, that's fair.
On New Game Plus, it's way more fun. I just hate grinding. Which is why I'm a speedrunner, because I hate grinding.
I think, you know, I mean, that's the benefit of these SAO games a little bit in this context, is like, a lot of them are just different. Like, some of them are even different genres, like we're saying with Fatal Bullet, which is coming up after this. It allows people who really like the context of the Sword Art Online universe to like play a game that's like closer affiliated with themselves, whether it be like a third-person looter shooter, or in this case more of like an RPG action game, or in the case of Hollow Realization, like a, you know, a more gamified game, because that game is much like more. It sounds stupid, but more game-like than this game. Has skill level up, skill points in the skill tree are similar to this game. This game has it as an afterthought mostly. You rarely ever think about your skill points. But yeah, they're, you know, whether it be your hack and slashes, more traditional RPGs, or your shooters, they kind of get you covered.
It's also super cool that you can beat most of them without grinding, because you can just stay super under-leveled, and the game's like, yeah, whatever. As long as you're not like... It's like Hollow Realization memes. It's like, well, if I'm like 1/7 the level of the boss, I'm gonna die. But if you're like half their level, as long as you don't take more than like 2 hits between heals, you're like probably fine, and everything's dodgeable for the most part. It's just like risky.
Yeah, I like being able to move out of the way of things, so like this game is pretty good in that way. And then the weapon variety in this game is better than it has been in most of the other games.
Oh, for sure.
Realization is pretty good as well, but I think unlike this game, it entraps the player a little too much in terms of skill builds, in that it's like, I need to get my, you know, one-handed sword to like 500, which just takes an eon, whereas in this game you can just go through its skill tree as long as you've equipped the weapon before and own one.
Yeah, I think like the first weapon you get, you just kind of discard after chapter 1. Well, not really, but you kind of just never use it again.
What I mean though is like, you pretty much don't ever need to even equip a spear, and you can just go through its list as long as you have one.
Ooh. And
grab passives off of it. You didn't have to level up like the spear, basically.
I mean, you can
to get deep in it, but you generally don't.
I mean, you can do it for proficiency, but it's like, but why? Wait, where am I? Oh, there I am. Okay.
So,
oh wait, I'm almost done.
Yeah, we're getting to the portion of the game where he's gonna be skipping everywhere.
It's what I do. I do be skipping around.
Exactly.
Does this event have a sponsor, or?
Yeah, well, we have a charity that we're grabbing for donations, so anybody who's in the chat or listening, be fantastic if you could donate to this great charity, Raw Change.
Raw Change, they do art therapy programs for impoverished children, so to build, like, you know, self-empowerment and the value of learning.
Yeah, so if you know, if you guys have even $1 to throw around and get it in there, you know, meals these days cost, you know, like $46. So, you know, $1 of that sounds pretty reasonable.
We are also sponsored by the Nakama Anime Bar in Jacksonville, Florida. Their recent setup a couple months ago, anime themed bar, and they just opened a anime themed restaurant right next door. So it'll be nice to check out.
Yeah, that actually sounds super cool. I wish.
I've heard a lot of good things about it.
Oh
I
yeah,
think it's
it's
fantastic.
super good.
I wish that was in a distance I could visit.
Good, cheap beer, fun time, a bunch of anime nerds. If you're
Man,
in the
I wish I
Florida
was
or Jacksonville
American.
area, yeah, check it out.
Man, I
Yeah,
really wish I was
before
American
Florida
right now.
sinks into the ground, you got to get there. So everybody fly out.
Funny Swamp Foundation memes.
Where's Jacksonville, by the way? I have no clue.
Sort of.
Is it
northern
left side?
Florida?
Northern
Yeah.
Eastish Florida. It's
Yeah,
like
we
someday,
South Georgia.
someday I will go. I will put it on the list.
That's awesome.
Go to the anime bar up north somewhere in Jacksonville.
ASF Con.
ASF.
Yo, someday.
Anime bar. A Nakama anime bar. All the Nakamas getting together. The Nakama anime bar.
You're part of my crew.
You're part of my crew. Reference to One Piece Grand Adventure for any of those that are curious. Shout out to Glitched Gamer.
The code word when you enter the bar.
Also, we want to shout out the Japanese Restream. You can catch them over at Japanese Restream. We're also streaming on Brat and Speed Gaming Espanol.
Yep. Shout out to all of the restreamers. They do a lot of work for us and make this project go out to more people around the world. So thank you guys a lot.
And if you're interested in our community, we have our Twitter, Anime Speedruns. We also have our Discord, which we use mainly for a function. We also have a YouTube and a newly Instagram. So if you're looking for anime speedrunning content, we're trying to pump out content constantly. Just check us out. And if you ever want to learn a speedrun, I would say ASF with Anime Speedruns Discord is a really good place to start, because a lot of these gamers are very willing to teach you. They're like, please run my game. Please run my game.
Yeah, I get questions from a lot of new runners who kind of want to learn a game, and we're always trying to get as many people as possible like into speedrunning or just into a game they really like. And yeah, we usually offer routing help. I've been gone for a bit, so I've been routing for most people, but you know, I'm still open to the idea if I think the game's pretty cool. You know, to look into it, hack it, you know, data mine it, whatever. As well as just, you know, overall help with my brain.
Yep. I'm happy to just sit in VCs with people and explain to them everything they're doing wrong with their speedrun. So.
I think you did it with me when I played Fatal Bullet.
Did I?
I beat it in VC with you in the server.
Yeah, that might have happened.
And then you told me to grind every skill, and I didn't want.
Yeah, that game on NG Plus on console, you do have to like grind up skills. It's unfortunate. On PC, you can just download a save from the SRC page that I put up. But
Yeah, that sounds more fun than
yeah, I agree.
That's doing the same thing over and over.
It's legit in terms of everything in it is legal, but I didn't obtain it. Like I cheated to get most of the stuff in the save, because holy crap, you need movement speed boosting accessories that take like a minimum of 45 hours of just farming in one specific spot, and I'm just like, nope. So yeah, we hacked to get the optimal save. It's all stuff you can get legit, but we didn't get it legit.
Yep. Also, for anybody out there, I like if the donation goal said $105 and not $102, so if anybody could help me out, that'd be awesome.
Oh, yo.
Oh, yeah, that's the last fight, by the way. We're gonna be done in like within 5 minutes.
We're nearing
I can donate $3.
$3.
But I'm gonna wait and see if anyone else does first, because then it'll just say 108. Maybe that was the plan. Maybe that was your master plan.
Oh no.
I'm the
Who's gonna get up to
mastermind.
105? Alright, you know. I'll shout out whoever gets to 105. If it gets too high, then whoever gets to 110, I'll help them with routing advice for a half hour.
Where's privilege?
I mean, you'd probably do that for me anyway, so there's no benefit.
Somebody got it.
Yeah,
to
but then you're
105.
first in line.
That was probably me, unless someone else did it in the past. Like, I don't have access to the feed, you know, behind the scenes. I don't know.
Last shrimp. Who was it? Who was the gamer who got it to 105?
The legend.
The legend themselves.
Who's the hero of the story?
I see a $3 donation from Anime Rules.
Ooh.
Yo, let's go!
That was probably before mine then.
I see. Congratulations, Anime Rules. You're a great gamer who has saved the day, getting us to $105 from $102. Thank you very much. But who's gonna get the infamous $110? All right. Who's gonna get the 30 minutes of my time they deserve?
Dude, let's do this for 2 days. Like, who's gonna get the next donation?
Who knows?
Yeah, I'm not gonna try and take that one. I'm too involved in the server to not end up with that for free. So I'm like there like friggin' every day. So
You can DM me directly on Discord if you donate $110.
Dollars.
Right now, 110
Right.
more dollars.
yeah, do it. Do it.
The secret exchanges. in
Currently
public
auctioning
forums.
off a date with Nylon Sun.
The stop goals.
Who's gonna get there? $110 dues USD. That percentage will go from like 10.57% to a different number. I wonder what number it'll be.
100%.
Anybody else curious to guess what 10.57 will, without using a calculator, will go to if it gets to 110.71?
I'm good at math, but I'm not that good.
Well, just guess a number, and then if it gets close, whoever's closest, we shout them out.
Wait, what was it? What was the percentage I need to eat? It's like, yeah, what, $900. Let's do it.
11.07 Sun says.
Someone donate now,
I'm gonna say
$900.
11.11. I know that makes no sense, and I'm okay with that. It's gonna have a 7.
I'm gonna
Okay,
guess,
I'm at the end, by the
at
way.
least 3 for the memes. Because I don't
Okay,
know why
we're-
you're asking such a simple math question.
We're getting to the final cutscene, let's go.
Unless that's also for the memes, in which case I'm on theme, so it's fine.
All right, we're getting this crazy skip here.
Yes, it's just where you say yes. Yeah, when the cutscene shows, it ends.
All right. Oh, yes.
Oh,
Look at this powerful move we're doing right here.
yo.
We've just skipped minutes of content instantly.
Hours of gameplay.
Hours of game. Hours of grinding.
The category is
Yeah.
not even more than, like, the category's like an hour long.
No,
Look at
it's
this,
50
the final
minutes.
boss. We
My
just got to the
best one
final
was
boss of chapter
50
one. minutes.
Not even an hour anymore, it's 50 minutes. But is it 50 minutes?
Time. We said we were done 50 something minutes.
It's 50 minutes.
That was gonna have to be retimed anyway.
Yeah. Every time we-
Well,
Don't worry about it. He didn't say time, but it was on the red message where he said yes and the load screen finished.
okay, cool.
It doesn't make any sense. You literally say like, yeah, I want to skip everything, and then the cutscene starts. You go time.
Yeah. No, I was forced to watch the cutscene. Let's go.
Yeah, feel free.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would just recheck it. Greatest time.
I'm.
Thanks for tired, Jeff.
Oh, that's my friend Jeff. What's up, Jeff?
His sword. Oh wait, hers broke.
Oh,
She wasn't committed enough to the relationship.
L plus a way show your sword.
She blamed him for everything, and she got, heart pain for that.
Sounds like she should have touched grass.
She should have touched grass instead of playing video games.
That's what you get.
L.
That's what happens.
Alright. Well, thank you for your run. It was
No problem.
good. This
Thank you.
game is really cool. I'm glad to see it. I actually haven't seen it prior to this.
I mean,
Yeah, it's pretty neat.
you can watch my 12-hour one if you
I
want.
recommend it. Yeah, it goes on sale a lot, doesn't it?
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah. What is your world record again, son, for the whole thing?
Wait, me or
Yeah.
Sun?
I
I'm.
meant you. Sorry, my brain broke. I was reading Son's message.
Let me actually check. Because I know it's sub 8 hours.
He's gotten it sub 8. It used to be incredibly like 12 hours long, and we just grinded at it, hitting it.
Nice.
And
What is that
now
sound?
it's
Oh, that's her dying. Okay, don't worry about it. It used to be like 12
7
hour
hours,
40
41
minutes.
minutes, Son says.
12:38, and now it's 7:41.
Now, everybody who's curious, if you could beat 7 hours 41 minutes, I'll tell you right now, if you grinded it, it is certainly possible to get a 650 something. It is, I mean, Sensei did a fantastic job, but there's those dashes that could be put all over the place. There's some stuff. So,
If you play on PC, you could get like a 630 something.
yeah, because this is a
Wait,
time not on a PC.
Alright, if I get sub 7, we're still gonna do the one?
That was the required thing
Yes.
that he agreed to.
That
he
is what
I
I,
believe-
said. If PS4 gets to sub 7, I'll run the game, but I'd be running it on PC, so I'd
Sure.
save like 20-30 minutes on that. So mostly for wrist memes.
I will stay
Reserve my
committed
answer
to the
for
PS4 though.
list.
Alright.
Because I don't want it to look like a PowerPoint presentation.
Any closing statements, guys?
Donut.
Remember to touch grass, but also only do that in the breaks between runs, and then come back and watch the next run because it's more sword art.
Yeah. Stay tuned.
Any shout outs? Any
Shoutouts to Sensei for this incredible run, and the Sword Art Online community for coming together to love Rick like I do. And we'll see you.
Well, thank you. Thank you for
Yeah,
being
see you.
on. Alright, I'll see you later.
I mean, I'll be back in like 10 minutes, but
Oh
Well,
yeah, of course.
I'll go back in 11 hours.
All right, everybody. So